Today is one of those days when you just want to take a break from everything else that you have to do and spend a little time playing with fish. Last week we had a shipment of fish come up from Cumbia. Most of it were fish that we collected. I brought some fish up just for my large tank. I'll share those with you some other time. But I also had some filler fish come into the box that were a little too small for what I need them for. They sent some apistogramma up. Now I did collect some apistogramma megaterra, and the intention was to give those to a friend of mine, which I did. But another bag of apistogramma came with them, and I'm not sure what they are. So those fish have been over at my friend's place for a few days. They're settled in. They're starting to get colored up. So we're going to drive over there this afternoon, take a look and see what they are, see if we can identify them, and give you a little tour of this fish facility that my friend has set up where he's breeding a lot of fish. So, welcome to Ted's Fish Room. Let's go have a little fun. Hello. How you doing?
Good.
Oh, it feels so nice in here. Okay, so I'm here with my friend Tristan Watson, and this is Tristan's Tropicals. If you've been to his website, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been to his website, I'll put a link in the description so you can go and take a look at what Tristan has to offer. I've known Tristan for quite a long time. Oh gosh, how long have I known you, Tristan?
I think since I was in 8th grade, somewhere around there.
8th grade?
Yeah. Maybe you met me before that.
Maybe before that. Yeah, I've known his father, David, for a long time. They live south of where I live, maybe about a 15 or 20 mile drive. Tristan has been keeping fish and breeding fish for many years. His dad also. His dad is very into saltwater fish. Tristan is mostly into freshwater and dwarf cichlids.
This I'm using mostly for angelfish growth. These are 100-gallon tubs plumbed together, recirculating system, and I found the angelfish grow really well, really fast in these tubs.
Okay, so the water's coming into the tub. I see your overflow here screened.
Yeah.
And this is your filtration.
Yeah. This is stuffed with bioballs. You see under there.
It's homemade filters. But they're all plumbed together, one pump.
It's really pretty simple.
So mostly it's fry. So I hear some of your angels. Like I know these are. Tell us about the angels.
These are F1 Peruvian Altum. It's a common name, angelfish.
But not really an Altum.
No, they're not an Altum. They, in my opinion, they have the closest features to an Altum without being an Altum. But those are from UTED, I think.
Right. I remember those.
About 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago.
Yeah. What we got in here?
Those are apistogramma cruzi.
Cruzi, alright. Cruzi. Lots of different types of apistos.
See down here I have a lot of Pelvicochromis maliwi.
Pelvicochromis, what is now Crebensis maliwi.
I have a very productive pair. Every batch is about 75 to 100 fry. Those are just some German blue rams.
But no candidi, even though the sign says candidi? No?
There might be one in there.
Okay, so you did have candidi, but it didn't go well. Okay. It happens.
And these are some scarlet batis growing out up here.
Okay. Oh, lots of them.
This is the apistogramma borelli that you were talking about before.
Yep, we'll look at those again. So this is the tank that had the fish that showed up from Cumbia?
Yeah.
All right, so here's one of the fish that came from Cumbia. Let me see if I can get him to come out again.
There's one under the pot.
Okay. Well, the water's cold.
It's also really hot in here.
Right. That water's still pretty cool. There we go. Yeah, so I do believe this is the Megaterra, the Bright Binden. Back when I had my warehouse, Ted's Fishing Warehouse, Tristan was in college at the time, and he would spend his breaks and he would spend his weekends and his summers and so forth helping me out in the fish room. I like to say that if you're going to find someone to ship you fish, he's been very well trained, knows how to ship fish. And then when he graduated college, by that time we had shut down Ted's Fish Room, and that was a sad day. He didn't like it. I didn't like it either. But then Tristan said, Ted, I want to do this. I want to open a fish business. What did I keep telling you?
Not to open a fish business.
Don't open a fish business. And so he would keep giving me these grand ideas and grand things he would do, and I would shoot holes in them. My job was just to shoot it with a shotgun every time, shoot holes. And for me, it always came down to overhead, right?
Yeah.
And so finally, he's told me, hey, I found a place, and the overhead's really cheap. And it turned out to be this warehouse. I'm not going to give away how cheap it is, but it's a great deal. And at that point, okay, get it done. Okay, so this whole fish room and operation is set up in a greenhouse, and we are in Wisconsin, so this has got it's got different challenges in the summer and the winter. So you open this thing in the summer. What did you discover having this in a greenhouse in the summer?
We found that it can heat really, really fast. One of the first problems we found was that we didn't have the fans up and running right away, and we didn't have the evaporative cooling system on the end running right away. We were just working here building this, and even in May, if the sun came out on a 70-degree day, it could get up to 110, 120 degrees in here, which we knew that just wasn't gonna work out. So one of the first things we did was we covered the entire greenhouse with black netting like this.
Okay, but that's not on it now. You took that down for
that off. Yeah.
Okay, so you covered it with a black netting in the summer to help reduce some of the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
We took that off in September.
In September.
Yeah.
Okay. So what'd you put up in its place? Now it's winter. What's the issue?
So the issue is, of course, keeping it warm, and just a single layer of plastic on the top wasn't going to be enough. We're going to lose a lot of heat out through the top of the greenhouse. So we added in a second layer of plastic. It's kind of hard to see, but if I see, there's another layer up there. And we have fans on each end of each side of the greenhouse.
So this thing right here actually fills it full of air?
Yep. So it puffs up the entire greenhouse, so that I have an air barrier, which adds just extra insulation.
Okay.
And that's helped a lot, actually. I guess we don't know because we had it up the whole time, but it seems like it helps a lot.
Okay. So, and then, here a few weeks ago we had, record cold, and this is an industrial furnace.
Yeah.
And how often do you have to use that, do you think?
Depends on the day. When it was really, really cold, it was running not 24/7, but close to 24/7.
Okay.
During the daytime, actually, it doesn't really need to run if the sun comes out, no matter how cold it is. When it was -20, the sun came out, and from about 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock, which is only 5 hours, it didn't have to heat at all, because the sun naturally heated this place up to about 76, 77, okay, even when it was -20 outside.
So -20, and just the sun and the way the roof is set up kept it warm enough. But at night, you think this is coming on every night?
Oh,
probably.
Yeah. It definitely comes on every night.
Okay, so just a second ago, you opened these curtains up, and I've noticed in the 2 minutes or 3 minutes they've been open, it's already getting hot. It doesn't take much. So you can measure temperature. Where you're reading your temperatures at? Okay, so right now it says it's 89 degrees in here. And what do you like to keep it at?
I tried the baseline. I try to keep it as about 75, but
this is the low end.
The low end, yep. And I like to keep it. Today I've had this open more than normal, but normally the highest I want is about 85.
But 85.
It got a little bit warmer today.
Well, it takes a lot longer for the water to heat up than the air, so.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, so it gets 89 degrees, and then you just flip the switch. Was it this one?
Yeah, that one just controls if it's running or not. This one,
okay,
I can just flip that.
And now all the now the curtains are closing. and then it will shade it quite a bit, but it still plays plenty of warm. So this facility originally was designed to grow vegetables in the winter. So if it's warm enough to grow vegetables in the winter, it's warm enough to grow fish in the winter in Wisconsin. Very cool. Or very warm.
It's only, what, 10, 15 degrees outside today, right?
Yeah, it's cold out there today. For me, of course, I think anything under 60 is cold. Very nice.
What I'm trying to do in here is produce high quality fish, tropical fish, freshwater tropical fish, really. I'm focusing on dwarf cichlids, mainly rams and apistogrammas. I'm also going to be doing some guppies, which you knew I started actually breeding guppies when I was maybe 11, show quality guppies when I was 11.
We need good guppies. There aren't very many good guppies in the world, at least not around here.
There's some red albinos.
Okay, nice. Delta tail red albinos.
Yep.
And that's what, I know the people are really into guppies, and there are some people here in the U.S. that are breeding lots of really good guppies. But when you see a really true nice delta tail with a nice triangular tail, it's just different.
Here's some of the male offspring.
To grow outs.
And this is an example of the green water growing fish fast. I mean, these little males are maybe a month and a half old. They grow up in this green water really, really fast.
Oh, so this is a month and a half old,
Yeah.
so 6 weeks old. And he grew up in the green water.
Yep.
Wow.
Some blue star endlers down there.
Oh, the blue star endler.
Yeah. Started with fry, Logan.
Okay.
Started with real tiny fry, so I'm finally starting to get them where they can reproduce.
Well, just every generation's a little bigger if you just keep growing it as a colony. Tell us about the back of your greenhouse. What is this all about?
This is for orchids. These are mostly from the Donoglossum family. They originate in the cloud forest in Peru, and then they actually prefer cooler temperatures, which is perfect for the back of the greenhouse because that's open. That whole back there is open, so it stays just naturally cooler back here. So I don't really want to keep any fish in this area to begin with. And initially it's just an empty space, but we were given all these orchids, and they're in really rough shape when we got them, but they're starting to bounce back.
Okay, and that's an evaporative cooler back here.
Yep.
I mean, so in the summer, do you use this to help keep the place cool?
Yep, yep. So the water goes through this pipe up here. You can see there's little holes cut in the pipe under here. Water drains through this, I don't know what you call it.
Just a
board, basically, yeah. And it evaporates, and then the two big fans at the other end of the greenhouse are running. They pull the air through here. It pulls cool air through the greenhouse.
Cool, moist air. I get it. There was one of these orchids was blooming. There we go. So that's what the types of flowers these orchids have. So very cool. So eventually you're going to have orchids, or your dad's going to have orchids.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. It's good use of the space. So, are you reconstituting all the water that you use?
Not all of it, no.
So
depending on the breeder, depending on the pair of fish that I'm using, it depends on. I use a certain amount of remineralizer, depending on the fish. So all the grow out mostly gets the same kind of water, unless it's African cichlids.
So are you using tap water for your grow outs, or just?
I'm using Equilibrium to reconstitute the.
Okay, so you are making water even for the fry, even for the grow outs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I should let it be known that you're on a well here, right?
Yeah.
And we're out here where it's kind of in the countryside, so I would imagine the nitrate levels are pretty high in that well water.
They're fairly high, yeah. That's why the tanks that I'm moving away from hard water fish, because I was using well water in their tanks, and that's why I have so much algae, because of nitrates.
Because of nitrates.
And there's some phosphorus too. So.
All right. Well, not every place is perfect. What's going on here?
This is for the fish that have a hard time taking care of their fry. I remove the eggs and hatch them out in this water bath. So the water bath's heated about 78, 80 degrees. and I find that it gives the tanks a really constant temperature. So initially when I came out here, I didn't use a water bath, and the temperature would fluctuate too much, and I lost pretty much all my fry that I try to do this with. But this way, you can see I have a lot better results. These are some fry from a really young benchy pair that hasn't been very productive, but you can see they just started free swimming yesterday.
So those scarlet batis, we don't hear a whole lot about people being successful breeding scarlet batis, but you have got a lot of fry. This is the spawning tank, so tell us how you have this set up. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. I've tried a couple different techniques, and I found this works the best. I just put I have a trio in there, a male and 2 females, and they go in there. They'll actually spawn kind of up around here, and the eggs will fall down there, then they can't get at them. Because they eat those eggs. I mean, if they find the fry, they eat them immediately.
So what's this material?
It's just some sort of filter pad material. It's kind of plasticky actually, but it has lots of room. The fish can actually go in and out of there, but it provides a lot of space for the fry to hide. And I only leave the pairs in there for maybe 5 or 6 days, and I know they spawn about every single day. And I know there will be fry in there, so I move them out to a different tank. And
so you're just putting one pair in there, just one male and one female?
A trio, actually.
A trio.
A trio, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then that's that easy. You just put them in there, and then 4 or 5 days later you pull them out, and then fry just start to appear. Well, how long after you pull them out do you start seeing fry?
It takes a while. The only way you can see them at the early stages at night with a flashlight, because they're so tiny. I mean, they're comparable to saltwater larvae in size. I mean, they're very, very small. So,
so you pull the adults out, and do you flood that with green water or something?
Yeah. I stuff it with plants and green water and Fusoria, and usually by a couple weeks later, I'll start seeing some pretty decent sized ones.
Okay. So they must lay a ton of eggs, because you're just doing this, let's call it a 2-week cycle. And then you've got, there's an example, there's green water, he's got plenty of green water. And then where was that tank of batis? Here, yeah. But look at all the fry that are in there. Okay, so end the debate for us. Is it easy to tell the difference between a male and a female scarlet batis?
No.
No, the females have color.
Yeah, I've seen, and there's sneaker males that don't really color up until later on too, I've found. So I have a hard time sexing until they're full grown, basically. Until they're full grown.
Yeah. But and even when they're full grown, if they're not really well conditioned, if they don't have like a really full belly or have eggs in their belly, the females can be hard to tell. Alright, so Tristan there's another kind of backstory on Tristan, and one of the things I think is very unique about him is that he's more than just a hobbyist when it comes to keeping and rearing fish. Tell us about your education. Where'd you go to school?
I went to the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. I was drawn there by they actually had an aquaculture program, and I was looking into schools like Madison. They don't even have an aquaculture program. They also have an aquaponics program, which is one of the only ones in the country, I think. And I went to UW Stevens Point, and I studied biology as my major, and I had a minor in aquaculture, fish culture, as well as a certificate in aquaponics.
Okay, so not only is he a very experienced and gifted, I believe gifted aquarist and keeping fish alive and breeding fish, he also is backing that up with some education and knowledge on how to produce fish in decent quantities. And I will tell you, I've been to a lot of breeding facilities, I've been to a lot of hobbyist fish rooms, and Tristan is doing a really, really good job of not only producing a lot of fry, but raising those fry up into high quality fish. So if you are looking for good quality dwarf cichlids or other species or angels, give Tristan a shot. Take a look at what he's got. Go visit Tristan's Tropicals. You might find something you like. And his list is growing, and it kind of goes up and down because he's only going to provide things that he's breeding right now. So if you're looking for batis, for example, scarlet batis, he doesn't have them today, keep checking back because he'll probably have some more in a week or two. All right?
All right.
Both sets of apistogramma that I dropped off with Tristan from Cumbia turned out to be apistogramma megaterra, a nice fish, but we were hoping to get at least 2 different types. If you'd like to get a hold of Tristan, you can contact him through his website, www.tristanstropicalfish.com. Thank you for watching Ted's Fish Room.